Welcome back to the SNES Final Levels Rankings, and today we're going to be ranking numbers 31 through 45. Yes, that is right. We have an additional 5 games that we will be ranking today. And the reason being is because the first 10, there's only like 1, maybe 2 really good games, and I felt like I needed to add a little bit more to this video, so I added an additional 5 games. So yes, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ranks. All right, and we're going to start off with number 31, which is John Madden Football. This one I rank a D. It's just okay. This is the granddaddy of them all that started the Madden franchise. I guess technically this one would be called John Madden 92, as it was released in 1992. It's really just okay. It's hard to get used to. Controls are stiff. There's not a whole lot to it, I guess you can say, in terms of what you're used to playing a Madden game. But for the time being, I guess it was decent. I was never really into the old 8-bit, 16-bit football games. I love football. However, these games just didn't do it for me. It doesn't scratch that itch, even as a Madden game. So yeah, this one is just ranked a D for me. For number 32, we have the classic arcade game, Mr. Do, and I rank this one an F. This game was made popular by the Atari 2600 way back in the day, and for the Atari 2600, sure, this is probably a nice, fun little game. I did not like it, I'll be honest. I don't play the Super Nintendo to play classic arcade games. I was always blown away that systems like the Nintendo 64 and even there's more classic arcade games even on the Super Nintendo. Like, why are they re-releasing some of these old arcade games? I guess it's for like the older generation that are trying to get to games or whatever. I don't know. However, this one, it's 10 levels. I think the world record is like a little over 3 minutes, maybe something like that. I might be wrong on that. Not a long game. Not really all that fun. This is a pretty solid F for me. All right, what's better than one F-tier game? That's right, 2 F-tier games back to back, baby. We have WCW Super Brawl. I grew up as a WWF/WWE fan. I watched WCW. I enjoyed the Monday Night Raw and Royal Rumble games on the Super Nintendo. What could go wrong with WCW Super Brawl? Well, I'll tell you what. Everything. This game is a convoluted mess. The controls are wonky. The gameplay is stiff. It is just not fun. The matches are way too long with the way that health regenerates in this game. It is awful. The one cool thing that this game does have going for it is, as you can see on the player pick screen here, where the wrestlers come out of their little box there. I thought that was kind of cool. Other than that, nothing else is going for this game. This is hands down solid F tier if I've ever given one. All right, and for numbers 34 and 35, I'm putting them together because they are essentially the same game. It is Wheel of Fortune and Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition. These I am ranking a D. This is just an all-right game show game. Wheel of Fortune is always one of those games that was a lot of fun to watch on TV, and it's okay to play it on the Super Nintendo on a gaming system. However, it's not really a lot of fun when you're playing it by yourself or against the computer, to be quite honest. I'm sure my experience would have been a lot better had I played it against my wife or a friend or somebody like that. However, playing against a computer, not really a great time. Also, a lot of these phrases and everything seem to be very outdated. A lot of it I didn't know, so it was kind of guessing. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. Or, well, rather, a lot of them I didn't. But yeah, overall, not terrible. It could probably be in the C category. However, I went ahead and placed them in D. Not great, but also not bottom of the barrel. All right, up next for number 36, we have the game Wild Snake, and I rank this one a C. Now, this is actually from the creator of Tetris, and it's very Tetris-like itself. It's a nice little puzzle game. It's got some nice little soothing music, but basically it's these snakes that are falling. You got to get them grouped together, and they disappear. It's very, very Tetris-y. Like, I don't really know how else to explain it. The only really difference here is that when the snakes fall, they can be different lengths, and they will also sometimes curl into whatever crevice that you are putting them into to fit. You can see here on the screen how it works. Not bad. It does get old really quick, though. I think that Tetris is a better game, but overall, I put it in C tier because it's not terrible. You know, it's also not great. All right, up next we have number 37, Speedy Gonzales, Los Gatos Bandidos, and this one is your pretty standard run-of-the-mill platformer. Nothing real special about it. There are different levels, but pretty much every level plays exactly the same, just a different setting. It is not a difficult game whatsoever. I remember renting this game when I was a kid, and we actually beat it in one sit down. At least this one has a fun IP attached to it, which is an otherwise kind of boring platformer. I mean, it's not bad at all. There are a lot of blind jumps in this one, which really kind of brings this one down a notch or two. This is probably more of like a low C. But yeah, overall, not a bad game. Great game for kids, that's for sure. Yeah, I enjoyed it to an extent, but yeah, I probably won't be playing this one again. We have finally come to our first S tier game. And you can see it down there sitting in the left-hand corner, just waiting. You guys knew it was coming, and it's finally here. For this S tier, we have got Chrono Trigger. This is hailed as one of the best RPGs, if not the best RPG on the Super Nintendo. Some people will say maybe Final Fantasy III, some will say maybe some other game, but Chrono Trigger is by far considered the best RPG on the Super Nintendo. And it has every right to be in the S tier, maybe even an S plus tier with Zelda Link to the Past. In my opinion, this game is phenomenal. The storyline, the characters, the graphics, the music, everything. The fact that there are so many different endings to this game. There's like, I think 14 or something like that. And that makes the replay value so much higher than it needs to be for an RPG. But not only that, even if there weren't multiple endings, this game is so great that you want to replay it. I really don't have enough words to describe how much I do love Chrono Trigger, and the hype is real. If somebody says, oh, you need to play Chrono Trigger, they are not joking. If you want to play an RPG, a good RPG on this system, Chrono Trigger is where you need to go. I am not beating a dead horse. This horse is still well alive and running because it deserves to be where it is. So yeah, Chrono Trigger, I love the music. I loved everything about this game. It took me 25 hours, and this was my second playthrough. It had been a while since I played the first time, but even for my second playthrough, 25 hours, so much fun. But yeah, we have more games to get to. S tier all the way. Alright, coming in at number 39 is Super R-Type. In this one, I rank a B. This game was a lot of fun. However, it is extremely difficult. Now, if you can memorize the patterns, it does make this game doable. However, there is just stuff everywhere. It is a lot of trial and error through this game, and the scrolling for the game, since it is an automatic scroller, is a little slow for my liking. But overall, I did enjoy the game. It's just really difficult. This is definitely one of the more difficult games I have played to date. It's not a very long game, even though it took me 5 hours to beat this game. There's only like 5 or 6 levels in this game total. But yeah, really great game. I cannot wait to play the next R-Type game on the Super Nintendo, but as of right now, I really did enjoy this game. It is ranked a B. All right, let's get a sports title here in this list. And for number 40, I have got Head-On Soccer, and this one I rank a D. Now, for transparency, I will let you guys know I'm not a big soccer fan. I have tried to get into it. It's just not my thing. I don't know why, because I do enjoy sports, but soccer is just one I haven't been able to get into. I really have no idea why. So this one here was just not fun for me. I have read that this is one of the better ones on the system, which kind of scares me because there are several other soccer games I still have to play on the Super Nintendo. So yeah, I'm not real sure. here. This is one of those games that made me think that maybe I won't play all the sports titles, but we'll see. I really just didn't enjoy this game that much. I didn't think it was terrible, I guess, like F quality terrible. I thought the graphics and everything was nice. It's just, this is not my cup of tea, guys. Yeah, this was ranked a D. All right, going into number 41, we have one of the most basic platformers you can possibly have, and that is The Adventures of Yogi Bear. This one's ranked an F. Now you can see why I decided to add an additional 5 games to this list, because outside of Chrono Trigger, we really don't have a lot of stellar hits here, and Yogi Bear, unfortunately, is one of these non-stellar hits. This game is awful. This is so basic. Earlier I said Speedy Gonzales was like a real basic platformer. Yogi Bear somehow takes basic platformer and makes it more basic-ger. I get it was probably for kids, but it is awful. There's no iframes from what I remember. The level design are terrible. They are all over the place. There are multiple paths, but they are just awful. This game is so bad. The last level at the construction site is difficult, but it's difficult because there's a foreground on it that just gets in the way. You can't see. There's blind jumps everywhere. The controls are slippery. This is not fun. I get this is probably aimed at children, and as an adult, it did not click with me. I used to watch Yogi Bear growing up. I would think that being that I knew who Yogi Bear was, that I would want to play it. No, this game is really, really bad. Alright guys, and for the second time in this list, we have got two back-to-back F-tier listings, and this time it is Barbie Supermodel. Yeah, I mean, the title kind of gives it away, right? It's a game marketed towards young girls. It is 3 levels long. I believe it's 3. It might have been 4. I honestly don't even remember at this point. It's already out of my brain, but I just remember barely a platformer / action game. It is side-scrolling. You just kind of go with the flow, and then you turn around and you go back to the beginning of the level, and you go to the next level. Yeah, kind of hard to even lose in this one. It took me a grand total of 28 minutes to complete all of it. Just, yeah, real basic. Let's move on. And coming in at number 43 is The Flintstones, The Treasure of Sierra Mad Rock. And this is the first game on the list that was suggested by a Reddit user, and this one I actually ranked a B. I went into this game thinking it was going to be another basic Flintstones platformer, which in a way it is a platformer, but more so this is actually a board game. So you are on this board, as you can see on your screen, and you roll the dice, and you can move your character around from one space to the next, but every space that you go to is some type of level. This was a really good way for them to pack a lot of really small level designs and ideas into one game. And you don't necessarily have to play every level, because to do that, you would have to land on every space, which probably isn't going to happen in one playthrough. And you clear out one board / world. They're basically world. And then you get to move on to the next one. There's, I believe, 5 total. It does get a lot harder as you go through. The last world is pretty brutal as far as being quick with your timing and your jumps and everything. But overall, I found this game to be quite fun. This would have been a fantastic game for me and my brothers to play when we were younger if we had access to it. So very surprised at what I ran into when I decided to try this one out. Very happy with it. This is like a high B for me. I really did enjoy this Flintstones game. So yeah, go give it a try, especially if you have people that will play it with you. Well, it took us getting to the end of this list to finally get some decent games. We just had the Flintstones in a B rank, and now we're going to get our first A rank in Kirby's Dream Land 3. Now, this is classic Kirby platforming. This was a lot of fun. My kids adore this game. I do have it for the console, and they played this one non-stop. Every level in this game has some kind of hidden objective, so that at the end of the game, you can actually do the true boss and get the true ending. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed going through every level, kind of figuring out the little puzzle to see what the hidden agenda was in it so that I could get the real ending at the end. Now, I will tell you this, I didn't know that's what it was going to end up being. I was just going for 100%, but turns out you need to do all that to get 100% so that you can get to the last boss. But overall, really great game. A lot of really cool helper abilities in this Kirby game, which isn't anything new at all, especially nowadays. But back then, it was something that they were experimenting with. This game was a very late release for the Super Nintendo, and so it is rare and hard to find. It's expensive, but if you can ever get your hands on it for a good price, I do highly suggest getting it because you will not regret playing this one. This is definitely A-tier material. And last but not least, we have got another RPG on this list. It took long enough, and we have got, for number 45, Shadowrun. What an interesting game to end this list on. If you have never played Shadowrun, please hear me out on this. I was extremely skeptical about this one because it is very similar to a point and click type game that is also somehow action RPG, but believe it or not, it works. And after a while, the point and click becomes second nature. You don't really think anything of it. It has got some really good puzzles, although cryptic in some areas, but the whole idea of this storyline and the Shadowrunners and being in the Matrix, great idea, great fun. A whole series that ended up spawning off of this one. Highly underrated in my opinion. Again, went into this one, not really sure what to think. Absolutely loved it. This is A tier for me. I would play this again in a heartbeat. Really good music in my opinion. Really great gameplay. Fun story. Fun characters. Not your typical RPG, but it is an RPG. To me, this belongs in A tier. I think some people would probably put this in B, but I personally really did love this one. And this one has become a new favorite of mine. All right, guys, that wraps up this list, number 31 through 45. That was a lot of time. I appreciate you guys sticking it out. Hopefully, I talked about some games that you guys love and like. I hope I didn't put them too low for you. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm excited about doing the next 15, and then after that, we'll pick back up with 10. But yeah, guys, until next time.